Ačiū Artūrui. Tai mano pranešimas bus anglų kalba, kadangi transliuojam ir online, ir sakė kolegos iš užsienio nori labai prisijungti, tai pranešimas anglų kalba, kiti pranešimai bus lietuvių kalba. Okay, so in this picture you see an oil in the water, and oil in the water doesn't blend very easily. That's pretty much as startups and corporates trying to make the collaboration work. But you have to take necessary steps to make sure it can work. So today I'm going to refer the word startups, but actually the startup can be the company from 2 people to 200 people. So it's actually more small and medium enterprise, but just for the reference, it will be easy to use the word startup. So to make this collaboration work, that was Mobility Innovation Center was created. It was created a little bit about a year ago by 3 public companies, Lithuanian Railways, Lithuanian Post, and Road Maintenance. They all under supervision of Ministry of Transport. So the idea was together to combine the forces and to look for these innovations and this collaboration to make it work. So how we can bring these innovations to these corporates. So that's our goal, basically, to bring the solutions to corporates, to make sure they are advanced, they are on the edge, and they can really deliver the value to all of us. So how are we going to this achieve? So today my value proposition is going to be based on 3 main pillars. So let's start with the first one. Challenges. That's what we're working with the different business units. We're trying to go and speak with the people who are really working there. We're trying to understand their really pain points. We ask the question, so how we can solve your problem, how we can help you out. And that's the idea how we're trying to put these challenges into kind of themes or tracks. And then we're trying to say, okay, we're going to go and find out the solutions in the market. And also what we see as well that, these challenges, they are very similar across the sectoral, because some challenges, especially they have some fleet, let's say, the railways, they have the fleet on the road maintenance, they have the fleet on the Lithuanian Post. So that's how we're trying to put our efforts together to look which solution can fit to all of them. Let's take an example. So one new locomotive costs about 3 million euros. That's pretty much about the same as 90 new Tesla Model 3. I think that's a lot of money. And if you think, for example, if you put like 3 or 5, such a locomotives in the garage for the repair or maintenance, that's a lot of money just, standing and not making, any money for the company. So as long as, you have an interesting solution and, you can think that, okay, maybe you have some predictive maintenance, maybe you can have, fuel measurement tools or data management just to make it run more efficiently, we'll be happy to hear about it. So that's why we put this theme, we call it fleet management, fleet maintenance, and that's definitely the area where we can search for these collaborations to work together. But I also would advise, don't focus just on us, we just one of the country, maybe one of the company. Think about at least region, think about Europe or even globally. I can assure that, if we have this pain point, it's definitely at least our neighbors, our partners in other countries, they will definitely have it as well. So according to Statista, there are 65,000 locomotives and rail cars in the European Economic Area. I think that's a lot of market. If you put that in money, that's about 190 billion euros worth market. And we're just talking about the locomotives and rail cars. We don't touch like infrastructure, stations, and all the others. Let's take another example. So accessibility is the big deal, I would say, now at Lithuanian Railways. We're really trying to focus how we can make, this public transport available and accessible for all the people who has special needs. So for this particular challenge, we even created a dedicated website. It's already accessible from our website. You can go and check it. But the main idea is just basically to open up, the data, open up the challenges we have. We want to share what we are working on, and at the same time, we're trying to invite all the solution providers, the startups, the corporates, who can offer better solution, to make this public transport more accessible. We'll be happy to hear, and we want to try and test it. So all these themes, we put it on our website. Most of them, you can see that, they can go to one or the other category. That's what we're trying to understand the different business needs from the organizations, and they go into some categories. Even though if you have a solution which is not listed there on the theme, we're very eager to learn about it. We want to know and we want to test. We go back and check with our experts if this is innovative enough. Is it really what we're working on? And we'll come back and say, yeah, that's cool. Let's do it. We're interesting to learn what you can offer. So that's challenges. That's our first pillar. Now I'm going to present the second pillar. So let's take another example. 55,000. I think that's a big number. And that's pretty much the same how many parcels are delivered by Lithuanian Post every single day throughout the year. That's pretty much the same as the sixth biggest city in Lithuania, which is Alytus. So you imagine every single person living in Alytus, from kid to grandparent, gets a parcel every day, every year. I think that's a lot. So you should probably understand that, delivery, and especially last mile delivery for Lithuanian Post, is a big deal. And you're going to hear in a minute from the panel discussion how we did the pilot, so I'm not going to spoil it now. But we teamed that together with these organizations, and we needed a platform how we can run these kind of pilots, how we can get involved, these kind of companies, and then try to do these validations and to see where innovation can really solve our, challenges and maybe bring some more efficiencies. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to announce our official Sandbox, which is first of a kind across transport sector in Lithuania. And the idea that, we teamed up together with Lithuanian Railways, Lithuanian Post and Road Maintenance to open up our infrastructure and data just to do these pilots and validate. I think it's a win-win for everybody. For the startups, it's the ability to test and validate your solution, your idea, just to make sure it works in the real-time and safe environment. But at the same time, for the corporates, they can see what's available in the market. What can innovation do for your normal business life? Can you improve it? Maybe it's not going to fit, and that's fine. But that's the idea, we want to see. Of course, it has to be innovative enough, because the organization is going to put resources, and expertise and time in it. So we're going to check it, as long as it's going to be innovative, that's fine. We're happy to do that. So as long as you have proof of concept or your MVP, get in touch, and we want to learn from it. So what's the Sandbox going to bring, and what's the value in it? So that's actually four main things I want to mention. So testing environment. So we're happy to provide infrastructure data, even in some cases the working space if needed. Also, the mentorship. You can tap into resources, for these organizations. They have people working for years in the industry, so they definitely can advise you how you can develop your product, how you can evolve, how you can scale. Think about some other challenges, maybe you not necessarily know about them. The finance, so we can help you in advising and to attract the finance. We are not focusing ourselves, to finance, but we definitely can put in the right contact, with the venture capitals, with the business angels. Some people already here. And I'm sure they will be eager to learn that you're already trying to pilot with such a companies like Railways, Post, or Road Maintenance. I think that's a big win. And the last thing is network. So we can help you advising, how you can scale, how you can get the certificate in the specific industry. We can put in the right contact with the peers in other countries like Germany, Israel, UK, wherever that may need. That's the idea as a hub. We're trying to build our relationships and networks so we can bring the added value for both parties. How do you apply for the Sandbox? It's quite easy. It's online already on our website, so we just go there and submit an application. We're going to evaluate, you're going to check, we're going to go back and check with the experts as long as it's innovative. We'll come back to you and say, hey, prepare the pilot plan, and we're going to prepare the data and the infrastructure. Then we're just often ready to pilot, get expert advices, how you can evolve, how you can change your product, how you can adapt, and, for the scale. And then at the end, just, we're interesting to see the report. So what actually your solution can do us. At the same time, the corporates can think, okay, maybe that's really cool, innovative, okay, is it comparable, can we integrate? Or maybe you say, okay, that's not interesting, that's not for our country, maybe it doesn't fit very easily. But the idea is just, testing and getting this kind of information. So that's our pillar 2. And now pillar 3. Let's take another example. So to travel from North Pole to South Pole, that's a bit of distance. It's actually a long distance. That's 20,000 kilometers. And that's pretty much what road maintenance or kelių priežiūra looks after, here in Lithuania. To be precise, it's 21,000 kilometers of the roads. I think that's a big number. To provide a good service and the maintenance, you have to understand the details about it and have to have a good roadmap. So Martina's going to tell you about their interactive roadmaps and the innovations that kelių priežiūra is working on. But we as a hub, we're focusing more on how we can integrate collaboration between startups and corporates. And that's what we're focusing. We're focusing on the procurement roadmap. European Commission, encouraged to use more and more procurement, innovation procurement. But there's so many success cases in Europe available, even though we don't have such cases here in Lithuania. So that's our aim, to bring more clarity for both parties, so the startups or the small enterprises can understand what to expect from the procurement process, innovation procurement process. And at the same time, we want to try to optimize the process, reduce the bureaucracy, speed up if necessary, if possible, so the corporates can make decisions faster. So together with a couple other organizations like MITA, like GovTech Lab, like Lithuanian Innovation Center and policymakers, we're trying to launch now a Sandbox procurement. So the idea is just to test and validate different methodologies, and to have a best practice, which methods we should use, in each case. For example, pre-commercial procurement, is it project design, is it competitive dialogue, fits better for innovation, procurement. We want to test it. We want to validate, collect the best practice, and then we can share for whole public sector. And at the same time, these business unit people, they will have more clarity. They can understand how, when, and which method they should apply for innovation procurement. And then I believe that, this innovation can really convert, challenges into opportunities. So that's our 3 pillars, once again, challenges, Sandbox, and the procurement. But all in all, to make it work, I believe we should focus on one main thing, and that's user experience. So we're focusing on the business needs by understanding and identifying the challenges, we're scouting the solutions, and at the same time we're trying to open up the right doors for the startups so they know who they need to speak, they can offer their solutions. So the idea that Mobility Innovation Center becomes a one-stop shop window, basically. And at the same time, it's very important to set the right expectations, So for one side, you have to say, hey, slow down, this is not how the corporates work, so you have to be more patient. But at the same time, you can maybe speed up, for the corporates to say, hey, if you want to work with the startups, we need to, make maybe some decisions a little bit faster if possible. So I think the managing expectations will be very key, and to speed up of making the decisions, and especially to create this positive experience across both parts. And we're not alone in the market. There are already very similar agencies or organizations like us. So Deutsche Bahn, Sandbox, and BMW Startup Garage, they're based in Germany, and the company called Drive from Israel. I've been talking with them, and they were openly sharing the experience. They've been working in the market for about 3-5 years, and they're trying to make this collaboration work between startups and corporates. So they really share valuable, experience. So we can skip some mistakes they had in the previously. Like, for example, some of them, they started with the accelerator and said it's not going to work, So we're just focusing more on a little bit later stage startups. But the good thing, and was very curious to learn, and said, so what advantage we as a country can have? And all of them, they said, if you can make decisions fast, I think that's going to be the best advantage, as a country we can have it. Because we're a small country, we can really make decisions much faster. And the other point they mentioned, that it's really cool, and really, really the way they are looking for that we can manage to share this experience across the transport sector. I think that's really key value. So, as we see, if we take the necessary steps and the cooperation between startups and corporates, I believe that can work. It's pretty much the same, as you can mix oil and water with the right ingredients and following the right steps. So please visit our website. You can follow us on social media as well. We're going to keep updating more information about successful pilots and other success stories. And that's pretty much it from me. So thank you.